Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Arndt and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer, and I'm really excited to talk with you today about money mindset, how to build your wealth in 2023. This has been a topic that's been really top of mind for me this year, and as you know, I always want to share insights with you of the things that work in my own life and the things that inspire me in my own life. Some of the principles that I'm sharing in this video today are my interpretations and takeaways from the book Rich as by Amanda Frances. I know that I've already mentioned this book now a few times in my previous videos, but it's honestly been a book that has really shifted the way of how I think about money. I think I was already on the journey there, but it has really kind of solidified some of the things that were already really important for me, and obviously shared with me completely new insights as well. So I'm really excited to talk with you today about money mindset and the things that I'm doing in order to attract wealth into my own life. This is part of a series that I have started to record for you because I am really inspired after 4 years in business to share more insights with you of what has helped me to build this successful business. There's a podcast on my podcast channel as well called How to Start a Business in 2023, and I really do hope that you're going to check that video out as well, because I know that it can inspire you, and if you are thinking about starting your own business in 2023, I truly hope that there are some really good tips in there for you that make you even more excited to get started. So, without further ado now, let's jump into the first principle of attracting money into your life. Okay, and the first principle on how to attract money into your life is the principle: don't worry about the how, worry about your belief system and mindset. And that was something that truly deeply resonated with me, because I think I am a doer and I'm an action taker, and I constantly do and plan and do all of these different things and take a lot of action in order to bring money into my life, but I haven't really truly worked on my money mindset and my belief system. And through the book, it really came to the light that I do definitely have to work on my money mindset. And so that was my biggest first takeaway and the first principle that I want to share with you as well. Hopefully that resonates with you, right? So don't worry about how. Don't worry about how many more courses to produce, what to do. Worry first of all about how your mindset is with regards to money. What kind of different beliefs, especially obviously limiting beliefs, that you are holding with regards to money, because breaking through those, I think, will also help you to just be more open to receiving money. The next principle is a super simple principle and yet so powerful, and the principle is: be very clear on how much money you are trying to attract, right? We have to be really clear on what is it that we are trying to bring into our lives. And one of the biggest realizations, honestly, that I had with regards to that last year was when one of my mentors and kind of business coaches asked me the question: what would it take to make $1 million in 2022? And I was thinking about it for a second, and I was kind of surprised about this question in general, because I had never thought about that before. I had never even dared to dream in that big of a capacity. And that was a really good insight, right? Because I had never even allowed that kind of money to come into my life. So it was a really good exercise to think about, what does it actually take to bring $1 million into my business in 2022? And obviously I'm not there yet. However, it has started to make me think about these bigger numbers. And one of the principles that Amanda Frances is actually talking about in her book is that we have this level of money that we are comfortable with, and that's the type of money that's always coming back. So let's say, for example, you're making $100,000 per year, and that's the money that you kind of keep on making every single year because you never really dare to dream bigger. And so over the last 2 years, I've made about $250,000 in my business. Obviously that's just revenue, that's not profit, but that's been probably the number that I've been kind of comfortable with. And even though I try to dream about bigger numbers, it's been, yeah, there's been something that's been blocking me. So obviously my big goal is to make $1 million in a year. However, I think sometimes it's really helpful as well to chunk that and to not make this big of a jump and to think, you know, from one year to another I can make that much money, which is obviously also totally possible. And if you believe that and you have the type of business that supports that, it can absolutely happen. I've honestly seen anything and everything over the last 4 years following different YouTubers as well. But for me, you know, I feel like I'm kind of taking these steps and taking this year by year. And so this year my goal is to kind of hit the middle, which is $500,000. So that's my big number. That's the number that I'm trying to attract into my life and that I'm starting to believe in, that I'm totally worthy of as well. The next principle in money mindset is embrace the wealthy woman or man lifestyle. So ask yourself the question, how would you act? How would you feel? What would you dream about? I want you to start really visualizing what your life would be like if you would have that kind of money. Because let's be honest, we oftentimes don't ever go there. We never really go there. We don't really dream about what would we do with our time? How would we act? How would our house look like? What would we do on a day-to-day basis? What would we wear? How would we feel, right? And so that's a super powerful exercise, and it's actually an exercise that I'm currently doing with my sister. So on a daily basis, we're sending each other 2 to 5 minute voice messages in order to just share our dreams, in order to start that visualization, because sometimes it's easier to share that with another person than to just write it down. But for you, you might really like to journal. So maybe you want to take a journal into your hand, you want to start writing down what that life would look like for you. You know, how would you feel? How would you act? What would you do? Where would you spend your money, right? Where would you travel to? Like all of these different things. How would your house look like? What would you do? How would your wardrobe look like, right? All of these different things can be things that you can dream into your life, but we never really take the time to do it. So take some time to embrace that lifestyle, that future wealthy lifestyle, and really think about what would you do. The next principle that I want to share with you is honestly one that resonated really strongly with me and that I've been really applying in my own life over the last couple of months. And it is the principle to be grateful for every single expense that you have in your life. No matter if it is fixed expenses that you're paying for your house, no matter if it is childcare, no matter if it is taxes, all of these different things actually help you to become a wealthy person. And that's been such a mind shift for me, honestly. This has been one of the biggest mind shifts, because I think we are oftentimes almost angry or frustrated about having these kind of bigger expenses. We don't want to do our taxes because we are afraid of the taxes that we have to be paying still, right? And obviously as a business owner, I actually put money aside every single month in order to have like a chunk of money that I can put into my taxes when tax season is coming up. And that's always been obviously kind of an uncomfortable process, because it's never fun to pay thousands and tens of thousands of dollars. However, I've been really shifting my mindset to, I am really happy to have this expense, because this means that I'm a wealthy woman and that I can afford this, and that's just part of life, right? And so another example is I just paid flights for my family to come visit me here in California. It was a Christmas present, and at the time when they booked their flights, I didn't feel like a super wealthy woman yet, because my business is obviously going through these little fluctuations on a month-to-month basis. So one month I am making a ton of money, the next month I'm doing not as much money. And so those expenses came in the month where I didn't feel like I had a lot of funds available. But when they booked the flights, obviously I still let them book them, I just went into gratitude, and I just thought, how cool and powerful and empowering is it that I can spend $4,000 for 3 flights to have my sister, my niece, and my mom come and visit me in California. And this is great, you know, instead of being frustrated or instead of getting into that fear state, which I'm really, really oftentimes getting into. I'm oftentimes feeling fear around money and fear of not making money and fear of not having enough money. To shift that feeling and to shift that mindset into gratitude is super, super powerful, and has been something that has really, really, really changed how I feel about money. The next principle that I want to share with you is a really important one as well, and it is about being conscious about your limiting beliefs and also about your fears. That's obviously super important, because only when you recognize your fears and limiting beliefs in the moment can you shift them and can you change them. And I have come to realize, as I'm going through this experience at the moment, as I just mentioned that little story, and I will come back to that again, that over the last 4 years, that has been my pattern. I have months where I'm doing really well, I have months where I'm almost not making any money, and it always puts me into this grippy, fearful, anxious state of like, I don't want to spend any money because what if I don't make any money in the next 3 months, right? There's always this like clinging fear and grippy fear, and that's been something that I really recognized in myself since I read the book 2 months ago. And it's been something really interesting, because when I read the book in December, I was feeling really wealthy and I was feeling really well. I was traveling in Mexico for a month and I felt really good about it. And I was thinking to myself that I don't really have limiting beliefs around money. What a joke. So 2 months later, right, I am back exactly in the same pattern of I had an amazing, incredible month in January, and February has been a little bit slower, which is totally fine, because historically February is just a slower month for me. And that's maybe a limiting belief as well that I have to break through, by the way. But you know, I can feel those fears coming up. I can feel that I'm not spending as much money, that I'm not making investments as much as I do in other months. And yeah, and it's been really powerful to realize that. Also, for example, I had a launch at the end of January for my 10-week program, and the launch didn't go as well as I wanted it to go. And one of the big things that Amanda Frances says is that don't make your self-worth and your value dependent on the success of these launches. Move on, do the next thing. And that's been so powerful. That's been so, so helpful, because I think in the past, again, I would have gotten into this thought loop and pattern of, am I good enough? What did I do wrong? Why are people not buying these things, right? And it's like, maybe it wasn't the right time. And you know, the world is going through a lot of changes, obviously all the time, but especially the clients and the audience that I'm working with, they are really affected at the moment, and they are going through a lot of different changes. And so it's okay that the launch didn't go the way I wanted it to go. And at the same time, I decided very consciously that this economic crisis or the economic downturn or the economic recession is not going to affect how I am viewing my business and how successful I am going to be in 2023. And that's been such a powerful such a powerful mindset to be in, to be like, it's not going to affect me. There's been lots of millionaires coming out of recessions. There's still money flowing around in this economy, and I will get that money because I am making that conscious decision that I'm not letting it affect me. So working on my limiting beliefs is something that's been super, super powerful. And here is the final powerful reminder and principle that I want to share with you today, which is money mindset is also a process. There's going to be always limiting beliefs that you're working through. It's like peeling an onion, right? It's personal development, guys. So there will always be other things that are coming up for you when you're hitting the next kind of marks and the next thresholds in your money mindset, right? At the moment, I'm working on $500,000, and I know that as I'm moving into $1 million, there's going to be other limiting beliefs that I have to work through. And if I'm working towards $5 million, another limiting beliefs and mindsets that are coming up, right? And so money mindset very much so is a process as well, and we just have to enjoy that, and we have to enjoy that journey as well, right? All of the things that we're doing in our lives are journeys, and you know, I always ask myself the question, what am I going to do with my time? What am I going to do with my money, of course, as well? And the answer is I want to consciously work on it. I don't want to just sit here and wait and see if I may be able to attract this money into my life. I want to you know, I want to be very mindful of that. So it is really a very active process, not a passive process at all, because you're working through these limiting beliefs, you're working through all of these mindset things, and it's really powerful. And I'm sorry that it is really dark again here in my office. Let me adjust. Okay, there's a lot of light changes today. We are expecting the next big snowstorm in Tahoe. Anyway, so here's the light again. Oh man, this is really shit. So yeah, that's all I wanted to share with you today. Money mindset is a continuous process, and it's a really, really fun one, and it's a really interesting one, and it's a really inspiring one. So I will obviously keep you in the loop of how I'm doing over the course of 2023. Make sure that you're checking out my other videos, especially my Plan With Me videos. That's the series where I'm sharing a lot about my own journey, a lot about my own learnings, and a lot about the things that I do on a day-to-day basis in order to make sure that I'm showing up for myself and to make sure that my business is successful. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope to see you in the next one. Take care of yourself and see you soon.